Hello everyone, and welcome to Royal Daily Report, your #1 source for the truth about royal news and celebrity stories. I'm your host, and today we're bringing you a story that will shock you. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button right now and turn on the bell notification so you never miss an update from Royal Daily Report. Let's dive right in. Let's get straight to it. A witness has come forward. Not someone who just talks about the royals. Not a critic, a staff member who was actually present during Meghan Markle's visit to an animal shelter in 2019 while she was publicly pregnant with Archie. This woman worked at that place that day. She wasn't media. She wasn't invited there for show. She was there to do her job. And according to what she says, what she saw during that visit is not just disturbing, it directly goes against the story the public was told. She says she remembers the day clearly because of the rules. No personal filming, no photos, no talking about the visit beyond official coverage. Every camera inside that building belonged to Meghan Markle's team. That mattered because when something went wrong, there was no independent footage to challenge the story. According to the witness, everything happened normally until Meghan knelt down during the visit. That's when it happened. A sound, not loud, but sharp enough to be noticed. A pop. The witness says she immediately looked up, and so did others nearby, because the shape of Meghan Markle's pregnant belly changed in real time. Not slightly, not naturally. It dropped. She says the belly appeared to deflate as Meghan knelt, creating visible reactions from people standing close enough to see it happen. Moments later, Meghan excused herself to the bathroom. The witness says she watched her adjust the belly before returning to the room. No announcement, no explanation, just silence. The palace knows about this. She says the palace has been told directly that a woman who stood only feet away from Meghan Markle during a royal visit is ready to tell the world what she saw. And what she saw, according to her, was a deception so reckless that it now threatens the legitimacy of the monarchy itself. This is not a soft story. This is not a polite story. And it is absolutely not going away. Because when people stop being afraid, secrets start making noise. And this one made a sound. Make sure you're subscribed to Royal Daily Report so you don't miss any updates on this developing story. Let's be very clear about what this story is not. This is not about fashion. This is not about body shaming. This is not about disliking Meghan Markle. This is about fraud, deception, and power. Because, under British constitutional rules, a child included in the line of succession must be born of the body of the woman claiming motherhood. There is no modern update. There is no emotional exception. And attempting to pass off a child who does not meet that requirement as legitimate while collecting titles, security, wealth, and status is not a misunderstanding. It is considered fraud. And when that deception touches the line of succession, it escalates into something far more serious, something historically described as treason. That's why this story scares people. That's why media outlets hesitate. And that's why, according to multiple accounts, the palace didn't rush to investigate, but rushed to contain. Because if this allegation collapses, it doesn't just fall on Meghan Markle. It falls on every official who stayed silent, every institution that looked the other way, every gatekeeper who helped keep the curtain closed. And now someone from inside the room says the curtain slipped. After the pregnancy slip happened, staff didn't run to social media. They didn't whisper to tabloids. According to her, they asked one question. What did we just see? The answer they were given didn't calm anyone. They were told Meghan was wearing a prosthetic pregnancy belly, not because she wasn't pregnant, but to protect the real pregnancy underneath. Let's say that again, slowly. A fake belly to protect a real one at a secured venue, with royal police protection, with controlled access, with pre-approved press. This explanation doesn't just fail logic, it insults it. Pregnant women don't wear prosthetics to hide pregnancies. Royal women don't need disguises at private charity visits. And no medical professional on earth would recommend layering artificial pressure over a real pregnancy. The staff knew it. The witness knew it. And more importantly, the palace knew it didn't make sense either, because instead of clarifying, correcting, or investigating, they shut it down. No discussion, no follow-up questions, no public acknowledgement. And that silence wasn't accidental. It was strategic. Stay with Royal Daily Report as we continue to uncover the truth. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. This is where the palace completely underestimated the public and their own staff. They genuinely thought the explanation Meghan wore a fake belly to protect her real belly would end the conversation. Instead, it ignited an inferno. Because here's what doesn't add up. Meghan Markle already had full armed protection. The shelter was already locked down and checked. Nothing about her environment required extra protection from her own abdomen. And more importantly, if the fake bump was for protection, why did it fold, collapse, and shift out of place? Why did Meghan allegedly run to the bathroom to adjust it? Why were staff banned from recording anything unless the footage came from Meghan's own cameras? Why did witnesses report seeing handlers tense up immediately after the collapse? Why was the explanation delivered with the tone of "don't ask more questions"? And if this story was harmless, why did the palace allegedly threaten, bribe, and silence? Because a fake belly isn't just a fashion decision. A fake pregnancy bump touches royal law, royal protocol, and if Meghan wasn't pregnant, if the palace knowingly presented a child as a legitimate royal issue, that's not PR, that's not optics, that's constitutional, that's legal, that's succession level. And that's why the fake belly for protection excuse didn't end anything. It exposed everything. Because once you acknowledge the bump wasn't real, you're forced to ask the question the palace has spent years dodging. So, where did Archie come from? And that is exactly why this scandal isn't going away. This is where the story widens. Because the palace doesn't operate in isolation. It operates through patterns. And when you look at how other insiders who spoke out were treated, the witnesses' fear suddenly makes sense. Take Paul Burrell, a former royal protection officer, a man who guarded Prince Andrew, a man who openly admits he is not perfect, including a past fraud conviction. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Many of the things he warned about turned out to be accurate. And when he refused to stop talking, he received a formal letter dated December 2025. Not a lawsuit. Not an investigation. A warning. A reminder of confidentiality obligations long after leaving service. Anyone who understands institutional language knows what that letter really says. We're watching you. We can reach you, and we expect silence. Sources close to Burrell say that warning didn't come from low-level bureaucracy. It came from the palace itself. And if a trained former protection officer receives that kind of pressure, imagine the position of a civilian woman who simply showed up to work one day and saw something she wasn't supposed to see. She has no badge, no legal shield, no institutional backing, just a memory and a truth that refuses to stay quiet. Royal Daily Report is here to bring you these untold stories. Make sure to subscribe and share this video. And that's why this witness is scared, because this isn't just about Meghan Markle anymore. This is about what happens when an institution decides silence is more important than truth and starts reminding people of their place. Now, let's talk about the silence, because silence like this doesn't happen by accident. After the witness decided she could no longer keep quiet, she didn't start with YouTube. She didn't go viral. She didn't monetize her story. She did what people are told to do when they have something serious to say. She went to the press. She contacted major newspapers. She made calls. She sent messages. And one by one, the doors closed, including Daily Mail, a paper known for printing everything royal, flattering or not. According to the account given, calls went unanswered. Messages were ignored. No follow-up, no curiosity. This wasn't a rejection. This was avoidance. And that distinction matters because when a story is weak, journalists poke holes in it. They ask questions. They demand proof. But when a story is dangerous, they don't touch it at all. And that's when you know you're no longer dealing with gossip. You're dealing with institutional risk. The witness says she felt it immediately. Not skepticism, not disbelief. Fear. Now, let's open the file Buckingham Palace hopes you never revisit. The Frogmore Cottage tweet. May 6th, 3:02 a.m. A simple message, posted and deleted in minutes. It read, "The Duke and Duchess of Sussex used the services of a surrogate. We apologize for any misunderstandings." You would think a tweet this explosive would have been instantly debunked by the palace. The press, Harry, Meghan, anyone. But here's the uncomfortable truth. To this day, not a single official has proved that tweet was fake. Not one. It floated through social media, got screenshotted, reposted, archived, and then the silence began. And what do we say in this podcast? Silence is strategy. Because if Meghan Markle truly carried Archie herself, the palace could have simply said, "That's false. End of story," but they didn't. Not in 2019, not in 2020, not in 2021, not ever. Instead, they treated the tweet like nuclear waste. Dangerous to touch, lethal to acknowledge. Why? Because according to royal succession law, the phrase "born of the body" isn't poetic. It's legal. It's binding. It determines who inherits the throne. If Archie wasn't born of Meghan's body, then Archie legally cannot sit in the line of succession. That's not scandal. That's constitutional crisis. And when you combine that with the belly collapse, the witness testimony, and the palace intimidation, the surrogacy theory doesn't sound wild. It starts sounding tidy, too tidy, like it was the truth they hoped would never surface. Don't forget to subscribe to Royal Daily Report for more exclusive investigations like this one. Let's jump to the next royal red flag, one that should have been front-page news across the United Kingdom. Because when Archie was born, newspapers proudly announced that the baby was delivered by Dr. Penelope Law, the Countess of Bradford, Britain's poshest obstetrician. Big title, big credentials, royal enough for a royal birth. Except there was one problem. Her husband, the Earl of Bradford, immediately went public and said, "My wife did not deliver Archie." The Sun never checked their facts. Let that sit for a moment, because that means the official birth story was wrong. The press printed a lie. The palace didn't correct it. And nobody has ever named the real doctor. To this day, we do not know who delivered Archie, where he was delivered, or whether Meghan even gave birth at a hospital. Because let's not forget, no photos of Meghan entering a hospital. No medical team waving proudly afterwards. No traditional Lindo wing steps moment. No eyewitness staff. Not a single nurse or midwife has been identified. The royal family, who documents everything, left the public with a blank space where a birth record should be. And every time someone tries to fill that space, the palace shuts the door. But a blank space doesn't erase the truth. It exposes it. Let's strip away the emotion and deal strictly in facts. Under British law and constitutional convention, a child must be born of the body of the woman claiming motherhood in order to be eligible for the line of succession. No surrogate workaround, no modern reinterpretation, no public relations spin. This rule exists to protect the legitimacy of the crown. So if a child is knowingly presented as eligible when they are not, and that presentation is used to secure titles, public funding, security, and inheritance, that is not a personal matter. That is fraud. And when fraud alters the line of succession, it enters the historical category of treason. That's not dramatic language. That's legal language, which explains why this allegation didn't trigger transparency. It triggered panic. Because this isn't about embarrassment. It's about undoing decisions that have already been formalized, announced, celebrated, and financially supported. And once that machinery starts moving, stopping it becomes harder than telling the truth. This is the question no one wants to answer out loud. Who knew? According to multiple accounts presented in this story, the palace was informed directly, clearly, early, but there is a critical distinction being made. The claim is not that the Queen was immediately aware. In fact, the suggestion is the opposite, that she was shielded, that senior officials chose to handle it internally, believing they could manage the fallout quietly, the way institutions always try to manage inconvenient truths. But something changed. Observers point to subtle but telling moments, including the quiet removal of imagery involving Archie from later royal materials, moments that suggest unease, reassessment, and internal alarm. Because even inside the palace, people eventually realize when a story doesn't add up. And once enough people know, silence stops being protection. It becomes evidence. Keep watching Royal Daily Report for all the latest developments in this story. Subscribe now if you haven't already. Here's the part they never wanted us to discuss. This story isn't over, because now we have a first-hand witness who saw Meghan Markle adjusting a collapsing fake bump, a palace that allegedly tried to bribe her. Threatening letters, allegedly linked to King Charles, a doctor who publicly denied delivering Archie, a mysterious surrogacy tweet no one ever debunked, a royal family that stayed silent while the world believed a version of events that does not align with the evidence. And the biggest question still hangs over all of it. If Meghan didn't give birth, who did? And more importantly, why did the palace help hide it? This isn't rumor territory anymore. This is structural. This is historical. This is royal DNA level truth-telling, and the palace knows it. So, here's what you do next. If you're tired of watered-down royal narratives, follow this podcast. If you want the stories Buckingham Palace prays you never hear, subscribe. And if you think this episode was bold, wait until you hear what we uncover next. Because this witness, she's not done speaking, and neither are we. That's all for today's episode of Royal Daily Report. This investigation is far from over, and we will continue bringing you the truth as it unfolds. If you found this story shocking, please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to Royal Daily Report and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Share this video with everyone who needs to know the real story. Thank you for watching Royal Daily Report, and we'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay informed, stay alert, and keep watching Royal Daily Report for the royal news they don't want you to hear.